Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Siheyuan. Huairu's sister.in.law, keep your voice down. Jia Dongfang, who accidentally traveled to the world of birds full of four courtyards, became the youngest son of Jia Zhang. After receiving news of Jia Dongxu's work-related injury and death, he returned to the yard, awakened the check.in system, and took on the responsibility of taking care of the family. One night, Qin Huairu secretly sneaked into Jia Dongfang's house. Sister-in-law, please keep your voice down. Well, bad guys, I'll listen to you, Qin Jingru. Sister, I'll help you. Lu Xiaoe accidentally knocked on the door and said, Jia Dongfang, come to my house and help me fix something. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Upon returning from a career change, Jia Zhang cried uncontrollably. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In late summer of 1962, the weather was still a bit hot. Jia Dongfang, holding the transfer certificate and proof letter in his hand, nervously carried his two large packages and walked off this green train. He took a deep breath and looked at the unfamiliar yet familiar scene before him, feeling a bit bitter unconsciously in his heart. He is a time traveler who, in his past life, was preparing to discuss the depth with a popular female anchor when he unexpectedly crossed over. The original owner was the second son of the Jia family, also known as Jia Dongxu's younger brother, who had never appeared in the TV drama, Birds Full of Four Courtyards. Due to the early death of Lao Jia, life in the Jia family has always been difficult. In order to take care of the two brothers, Jia Zhang endured heartache and persuaded Jia Dongfang to join the army. But through years of recollection, the original owner has always understood that it was actually because Lao Jia passed away, and there was only one remaining workstation that could be replaced. As his elder brother, Jia Dongxu earnestly persuaded Jia Zhang to occupy this workstation. So over the years, Jia Dongfang's relationship with his family has never been very good. However, with his good learning ability and emotional intelligence, Jia Dongfang has also lived a decent life in the military. At least I haven't experienced such a tight life at home. As for why he came back this time, it was all because half a month ago, Jia Dongfang received a letter from home. The content of the letter is also very simple, that is, Jia Dongxu passed away due to a work-related injury, so Jia Zhang hopes that he can come back to pay his respects. But Jia Dongfang is also very clear that it is to pay tribute to his cheap brother. Actually, I still hope to come back and take care of this family. Jia Dongfang, who harbored resentment in his heart, had no intention of returning, but it was also at that time that he unexpectedly awakened to the essential welfare of the traveler. The all-around check.in system allows for daily check.in and rewards. Along with it comes a 500 square meter accompanying space as a reward for beginners. However, to activate this system, one must return to this courtyard. Helpless, in order to appreciate the benefits of the traveler, he could only return to this courtyard. After a series of transfers and walks, Jia Dongfang finally arrived at number 49 Nanluoga Lane. Jia Dongfang looked at the familiar yet unfamiliar quadrangle with both excitement and unease. After all, going to Huai, picking pear blossoms, pressing crabapple, and poking Lu Zi are all exciting, but the unfamiliar bird-filled courtyard makes Jia Dongfang uncomfortable. It seems that because today is still a workday, there is no familiar goalkeeper outside the courtyard. Jia Dongfang carried his luggage and walked in. The entire courtyard has a 3-in layout, consisting of the front courtyard, middle courtyard, and back courtyard, each with a steward. The Jia family is located in the courtyard under the jurisdiction of an elder. Still looking familiar in his memory, Jia Dongfang took a deep breath and walked towards the door. But before he could get close, he heard a burst of screams and cries from the baby. You useless thing, gave birth to a useless loser, and cried all day long. Without milk, can't you think of a solution on your own? Anyway, I don't have any money, you can handle it yourself. Listening to this arrogant and domineering tone, Jia Dongfang immediately thought of his cheap old lady. As expected, lift the curtain at the door and take a look inside. Immediately, I saw an old woman with plump cheeks sitting on the kong, passionately shouting and cursing at a woman holding a child. Mom, if Huai can't drink milk anymore, she will starve to death. Turn me off. Before Jia Zhang could finish speaking, she caught a glimpse of Jia Dongfang standing at the entrance of the aisle. The originally arrogant aura disappeared in an instant, replaced by trembling and excitement all over. She quickly jumped off the kong and stumbled towards Jia Dongfang, murmuring incessantly at the corner of her mouth, Are you Dongfang? Just as the two of them were close at hand, Jia Dongfang chose to take a step back and then said in a cold tone, It's me. Watching Jia Dongfang take a step back, Jia Zhang inexplicably felt a bit suffocated in her heart. The original excitement was quickly enveloped by a layer of timidity. But the tears in the corners of her eyes clearly proved the bitterness and discomfort in her heart. Why did he suddenly grow so tall when he was still a thin and weak little man at the time of parting? The child who used to stick to himself and call him his mother every day suddenly became so unfamiliar. Thinking of this, Jia Zhang suddenly recalled the debts she had owed her youngest son over the years. In order to support this family and provide her eldest son with a place to replace the deceased man, she had to endure the pain of sending her youngest son to the military, causing him to have no contact with the family for so many years. When all the comrades around can enjoy the cloth shoes and clothes sent from home, it is estimated that their son only has a feeling of envy. East, you have finally come back, Mom. Mom thought you didn't want to come back. After all these years, Mom has apologized to you and made you suffer. Mom misses you so much. Jia Dongfang looked at the corner of his mouth in front of him, tears streaming down his face. Jia Zhang, who had raised his hand several times to hug him but was worried about his disgust and let go, was also deeply moved in his heart. I can't believe that Jia Zhang still has such a loving side. At the same time, Qin Huairu, who had been holding her child, couldn't help but take a few more glances at the scene in front of her. Of course, it's more about looking at Jia Dongfang standing at the aisle entrance. My own uncle seems to be even taller and more sturdy than Jia Dongxu. Although he is a bit darker, his eyebrows and eyes are also beautiful. Will this home become better because of his return? Dongxu's workstation is not meant to be given to him, is it? What if he doesn't want to take care of himself? And his wife Qin Huairu's heart also began to feel uneasy. Just as Jia Dongfang was about to say a few words to ease the awkward atmosphere, Jia Zhangshi seemed to suddenly remember something and quickly ran to Jia Dongxu's tablet. With a plump body and some twisting, he pushed open the cabinet under the tablet. Then, after kneeling there, he took out a cloth bag from somewhere. Jia Zhang excitedly ran to Jia Dongfang with this cloth bag and enthusiastically opened it, saying, Dongfang, look inside, this is the money saved by Mom, a total of 316.63 yuan. This is what Mom has been saving for so many years, waiting for you to come back and marry you. After saying these words, Jia Zhang spread out her palm as if waiting for praise, looking at her youngest son. After listening to Qin Huairu on the side, her heart was also filled with sourness. Didn't you say there was no money? Looking at Jia Zhang's enthusiastic gaze, Jia Dongfang still felt choked up in his throat, unable to utter the word. I had to shift the topic and point to Qin Huairu on the side, then say, this is my sister. Law, right? Not hearing the desired response, Jia Zhang still felt a bit uncomfortable in her heart. But upon hearing Jia Dongfang's words, she immediately patted her forehead and enthusiastically said, yes, oh, Mom is really old. I almost forgot to tell you. This is your sister. Law Qin Huairu. The loser she is holding in her arms is your brother's third Huai, as well as Bonggeng and Xiaodang. Bonggeng is a boy who is still attending school. Qin Huairu looked at Jia Dongfang with a look of embarrassment in her eyes. She lowered her head, blushed, nodded, and smiled, saying, "Dong. Uncle." Jia Dongfang also took a serious look at Qin Huairu. The title of the first white lotus in a quadrangle is indeed not exaggerated. After giving birth to 3 children, her skin is still fair and delicate, and her curved eyebrows and eyes are full of charm. Just a slight twist of her hair can make people's minds ripple. At this moment, the Huai in Qin Huairu's arms suddenly burst into tears again. She quickly explained, Huai should be hungry. This statement seemed to suddenly stimulate Jia Zhang, who immediately looked at Jia Dongfang with concern and said, "Son, are you hungry? Mom will let your sister-in-law cook for you now." Upon hearing this, Qin Huairu suddenly interjected in a somewhat anxious tone, "But Mom, Huai hasn't been breastfeeding yet." As soon as Jia Zhang heard that she had been disobeyed, she immediately became somewhat dissatisfied. She stared at Qin Huairu as she was about to erupt, but Jia Dongfang beside her said, "No need, I'm not hungry. Let's feed the child first. P.S. New book, I hope all readers can support me. Free flowers and review tickets are good, full of motivation. Thank you. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 2. The Foolish Jia Zhang Family, Rich First. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Because Qin Huairu needed to breastfeed, it was impossible for a man like Jia Dongfang to watch, so he had to leave the room and go outside. Accompanied by Jia and Zhang. Thinking that Huai's crying was bothering his younger son, Jia Zhang spoke up and said, "Huai is just a loser. No matter how much you eat, you won't be able to eat enough." Upon hearing these words, Jia Dongfang immediately froze his body, turned his head, and said calmly, "Don't say my niece is a loser in the future. Both boys and girls are the same. Without milk, it's probably because my sister-in-law is not nutritious enough. I won't have this situation at home in the future." Upon hearing these words, Jia Zhang was immediately overjoyed and said excitedly, "So, son, are you planning to stay at home?" Unexpectedly, Jia Dongfang snorted softly and said, "Why, can't I still live in this house? Otherwise, I'll leave now." Realizing that she had said the wrong thing, Jia Zhang quickly slapped her and flattered her, saying, "No, no, no, Mom is just happy. My son can stay at home, and Mom can just compensate you well." Qin Huairu in the room also heard the sound of the door, and the big stone in her heart finally fell to the ground. She only cared for the children, at least she wouldn't want locust blossoms. Moreover, listening to her uncle's words, it seemed that she would still take care of their mother's family, which made her feel much more at ease. Since Jia Dongxu's work-related injury and death, there has been no source of income in his family. And Jia Dongxu's pension was also collected by Jia Zhang. If it weren't for her own beauty, she could lure some food from the silly pillar. Otherwise, their family really can't even compare to the countryside. Outside the door, it seemed that a different sound had also emerged from the yard. The house across from the Jia family opened the door and a kind-hearted aunt emerged from it. Jia Dongfang took a closer look. "Isn't this a big mom from a TV drama?" "Oh, sister-in-law, who is this young man? He looks quite familiar," said a middle-aged woman across from him with a smile. Upon hearing this, Jia Zhang immediately grabbed Jia Dongfang's hand and said happily, "This is my Dongfang, my youngest son, a big mother." Then he turned his head and looked at Jia Dongfang with a smile, saying, "Dongfang, this is your mother. Do you remember?" Jia Dongfang also smiled and said, "Of course I remember. When I was a child, I used to eat and drink at a grandma's house. But I didn't expect that over the years, you have become younger and younger, aunt." Upon hearing these words, the old lady couldn't close her mouth with joy. She walked up to Jia Dongfang, grabbed his other hand, and smiled, saying, Dongfang has returned. I never expected that after all these years of not seeing each other, Xiaoe is still so good at speaking, and she has also improved her height a lot. Jia Zhang watched as an elderly woman held Dongfang's hand, feeling a bit dissatisfied. However, she couldn't say anything, afraid of offending her younger son. Just as a few people wanted to continue chatting, Qin Huairu walked out of the room holding Huai. The Huai in his arms still cried uncontrollably, which made Jia Dongfang frown uncontrollably. Then he asked with concern, "Sister-in-law, is there no milk?" Jia Zhang, who was standing beside her, was interrupted by the lively atmosphere and felt even more displeased. She glared at Qin Huairu with resentment. On the other hand, a middle-aged woman next to her showed a caring look. It's true that a full man doesn't know that a hungry man is hungry. If their family could have a child, they would probably have to rush to the sky. How could they make her hungry? Qin Huairu listened to Jia Dongfang's concern and blushed with some grievances, nodding. Jia Dongfang didn't pause upon hearing these words and walked straight into the room, then took out a bag of rice from his luggage. Then he took it out and handed it to Jia Zhang, saying, "Boil some rice paste for my sister-in-law, and feed some to Huai later to fill her stomach." Jia Zhang looked at this big bag of rice, her eyes almost lit up. In these days, most people eat stick noodles, such as rice and white noodles, which are eaten by wealthy families. But when Jia Zhang heard that she was going to cook rice to give to Xiaoe, she instinctively wanted to refuse, but she didn't dare to say much while listening to her son's impatient tone. I had no choice but to enter the house and dig a small bowl of rice and hand it to Qin Huairu, with a clear intention that she didn't want to take action. Jia Dongfang felt suffocated as he watched this behavior. He reluctantly grabbed the bowl and dug up more. As he walked towards the kitchen, he muttered discontentedly, "I'm not even good to my granddaughter, and I'm hoping you can be good to me." This startled Jia Zhang, and her chubby face trembled. She quickly took the bowl and said, "I can't go yet. You're just talking nonsense, I'm your mother. I'm not good for you." "Who is good for you?" As soon as she finished speaking, Jia Zhang quickly ran into the kitchen and got busy. This has amused both the old lady and Qin Huairu on the side. Especially in Qin Huairu's heart, she was full of gratitude for her uncle. Remembering that in the past, it was also Jia Zhang who ordered him to work, and Jia Dongxu would only stand idly by and not speak for him at all. Even more than Jia Zhang, she loves to manipulate herself. In almost an instant, Jia Dongfang's position in Qin Huairu's heart rose. The old lady beside her was also very pleased. Originally, Jia Dongfang was the elderly care object that their family had envisioned, but who knew that Jia Zhang had been sent to serve in the army without saying a word? It has troubled their family for a long time. Now that Jia Dongfang has returned, perhaps we can discuss with Lao Yi whether it would be better to retrain Jia Dongfang. Looking at Jia Dongfang walking, Qin Huairu choked up with red eyes and said, "Uncle, thank you for not liking Huai as a girl and giving her such good food." Jia Dongfang shook his head, even though he was dissatisfied with Jia Dongxu, it was all before he married Qin Huairu and had nothing to do with her. Besides, a newborn 1-year-old child is the cutest, and it happens that there is no place to pass the time in this world. Taking care of the child can be considered as giving oneself some experience for the future. What's there to thank? It's all a family. By the way, I have some things to attend to. I'll come back later. When the rice paste is cooked, sister-in-law, you can feed some Huai. Don't worry, as long as I'm in this family, boys and girls will be the same. Without waiting for Qin Huairu to reply, Jia Dongfang nodded and said to an old lady before leaving directly. Listening to the commotion of Jia Dongfang's departure, Jia Zhang rushed out of the kitchen and said in panic, "Where is my Dongfang?" Qin Huairu was immediately startled by her mother-in-law's demeanor, worried that she would be scolded again, and hesitated a bit. Fortunately, a middle-aged woman beside her said, "Don't worry, sister-in-law. Dongfang is going out and has some business to attend to. She will come back later, and her luggage is still there. Jia Zhang opened the curtain and looked at the remaining luggage before finally letting out a sigh of relief. The son who finally came back cannot be allowed to leave anymore. Then she looked at Qin Huairu, who was restless on the side, and said angrily, "You can cook the rice paste yourself. You still think of my mother cooking for the loser, it's impossible." After speaking, he immediately lifted the curtain and went back into the room. But it seemed like something was on my mind, and I turned my head and said, "If the East comes back later, do you remember to say it was me? Listen carefully." Upon hearing this, Qin Huairu nodded, which finally made Jia Zhang relax and rest. A middle-aged woman was also somewhat speechless. She pouted at Qin Huairu and took the huaihua flower, teasing her with a smile on her face. "Look, what a lovely child." Qin Huairu was very reassured about the elderly woman, so she didn't say anything and went straight to the kitchen to work hard. On the other hand, Jia Dongfang, holding a letter of introduction and a certificate of transfer, went straight to the Red Star steel rolling plant. "Ding, congratulations to the host for coming to the Four Courtyard and successfully activating the check.in system. May I ask if you are checking in now?" Jia Dongfang, who was excited in his heart, took a deep breath. "Sign in." "Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully signing in for the first time and receiving special rewards. 100 pounds of pork, 100 pounds of beef, 100 pounds of lamb, 100 pounds of white noodles, 500 yuan in cash, 10 cans of malt extract, and 1 liter of animal attractant." Listening to the sound coming from his mind, Jia Dongfang couldn't help but widen his eyes. The rewards are so rich. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3. Becoming a Deputy Section Chief and Buying a Bicycle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Animal attractant. Attracting animals through scent, with just a gentle drop on food, it can be deadly attractive to vegetarian animals. After consuming it, animals immediately fall into a coma for an hour. Listening to the introduction of the system, Jia Dongfang's face turned red with excitement. "Good guy, with this thing, wouldn't it be possible to go hunting in the wild in the future and never worry about meat again?" After calming down for a while, Jia Dongfang walked straight in. But soon, the big brother from the security office at the entrance ran out and stopped Jia Dongfang. "Comrade, are you from our factory? If outsiders come in, they need to register." Upon hearing this, Jia Dongfang calmly handed over his letter of introduction and proof of transfer to the other party. Then, while the other party was checking, he took out a bag of front doors from his pocket and handed one to the other party. The other party seemed to be an old smoker, and when they saw the front door, their eyes lit up. They smiled and took it over, then saluted and said with a smile, "Comrade, there's no problem with your transfer certificate and introduction letter. I'll take you to find our deputy factory manager Li." Upon hearing this, Jia Dongfang also bowed back and followed the other person inside. In no time, the two of them arrived outside the office of Deputy Factory Director Li. Just as the other party was about to knock on the door, Jia Dongfang suddenly grabbed him and looked around to see no one around. Then, he pushed a box of front doors from his palm into his hand. The other party seemed to have never expected Jia Dongfang to do so, and with a malicious smile, they said, "Comrade Dongfang, what do you mean by this?" Jia Dongfang smiled and said, "Comrade, you brought me here to do me a great favor. I trouble you to accept this little carelessness. There were many people outside just now, so there weren't many people here. You can rest assured. By the way, I don't know your surname, comrade." Looking at Jia Dongfang's sincere expression, the other party also smiled and said, "Comrade Dongfang, you're too far-fetched. My name is Qin Yuan, just call me Brother Yuan." Jia Dongfang also called out directly and rudely, "Brother Yuan, I won't be polite, then brother. He did this mainly because on the way to me just now, he saw many people greeting this distant brother. So he concluded that Chen Yuan must hold a high position in the security department. He has just returned and is not familiar with the people or things here. Building a good relationship with an acquaintance is a sure bet for him. Then Chen Yuan turned around and knocked on the office door. Please come in. Chen Yuan then opened the door and led Jia Dongfang inside. Director Li, this is Comrade Jia Dongfang who has just returned from his military career. Here is his certificate of transfer and letter of introduction. Please take a look. Upon hearing that he had come out of the military team, Li Chang immediately became interested. He took the letter and glanced at it before standing up and walking towards Jia Dongfang with a smile. Chen Yuan also knew the right balance and quickly withdrew. Comrade Dongfang, right. Oh my, our factory really needs talents like you to work. When did you come back? Li Chang's words conveyed a friendly atmosphere, and the smile on his face made Jia Dongfang feel a bit dazed. If he hadn't watched a TV drama, he wouldn't have associated the person in front of him with the smiling tiger in the drama. However, since the other party has already released a signal of friendship, I cannot brush their face. After all, in the subsequent plot, this deputy factory director Li successfully rose to power in the wind and became the director of the Revolutionary Committee of the steel rolling plant. But as for workability, it's not very clear. After all, it's not something that an upper-level person can do to assign an illiterate second uncle to write documents. Having said too much, I actually know people who like to be flattered. However, power is still real, so Jia Dongfang enthusiastically responded, Factory Director, you flattered me. I am just a young soldier and have learned some skills to serve the country. I just returned this morning. Jia Dongfang directly removed the word Li and called out to the factory director, which made the appropriate meaning of pleasing more clear. This made Li Chang feel much more comfortable listening, and his smile became even brighter. Comrade Dongfang is too humble, I like people like you. I have seen your letter of introduction and professional certification. The position assigned to you by our factory is the Deputy Chief of the Procurement Department, just like in the military, and it is still a cadre. Moreover, it is under my management, so I can take care of you if there is anything I need. I wonder if you are satisfied with it. Just entered the factory as the deputy department head, can you still not be satisfied? Jia Dongfang is so proud of himself. And he knows that under the leadership of Deputy Factory Director Li, as long as you are capable, you never have to worry about losing your job. In the drama, Deputy Factory Director Li was beaten by a foolish pillar, but later he begged him to come back. That's really satisfying. The factory director is so kind to me, and I promise to do my best in my work in the future. Even if it's going through the mountains of knives and the sea of fire, I can also give the factory director a visit. Jia Dongfang deliberately accentuated his tone when calling the factory director, making Li Chang feel even more comfortable. Comrade Dongfang, your work is not for me, but for building our country. This principle should be remembered clearly. Li Chang taught a serious lesson, but the smile on his face couldn't be suppressed. Jia Dongfang also nodded to show understanding. Okay, you can come to work next Monday. I will instruct the HR department to handle your onboarding later. If you have any other questions, you can always come to me. Jia Dongfang and others quickly took out the expensive Chinese cigarettes from their pocket and handed them directly to Deputy Factory Director Li. Vice Factory Director Li is also a discerning person. Zhonghai brand cigarettes were once used in state banquets, and their taste was naturally unique, so they were directly taken over. Later, Jia Dongfang also took advantage of the situation and lit a fire for him, saying with a smile, Factory Director, I really need your help with something here. Upon hearing this, Li Chang couldn't help but cough up. He didn't expect that he was just being polite, and the other party really dared to mention it. Since the words have already been spoken, we cannot go back on our word. Then you can talk about it. The factory director is like this. Jia Dongxu, who passed away from a work-related injury in our factory last month, is my older brother. I also came back from my job because my family had no backbone. I only have one room at home now, where my mother, sister-in-law, and a few children live. The space is really limited, so I want to ask if the factory can allocate a house for me. Li Chang took a deep breath upon hearing this. That's the problem, it's easy to solve. There's a worker in the front yard of your yard that I remember I need to transfer, and the house happens to be empty. It's quite large. If you think it's okay, I'll communicate with the street and assign it to you. Jia Dongfang, with an excited expression on his face, grabbed Li Chang's hand and said with a smile, "Thank you very much to the factory director. The factory director has been very helpful to me. Whenever the factory director needs help in the future, I have no hesitation." While speaking, he took the initiative to put the newly opened box of Chinese cigarettes into the hands of Deputy Factory Director Li. The two of them had another conversation, and Jia Dongfang left directly. Jia Dongfang, who left the steel rolling mill, did not directly return to the courtyard. When he was in the army, he changed to a bicycle ticket, which happened to be enough to buy a bicycle for transportation. Do whatever you say, and soon Jia Dongfang arrived at the largest department store in 49 cities and picked up a permanent brand bicycle. After receiving the bicycle ticket, the salespersons and also looked at it several times and confirmed that it was correct. After that, Jia Dongfang paid 168 yuan. Then he went to the police station and smashed the steel seal, and the bicycle officially belonged to him. Riding a bicycle back on the way, it caught the attention of many passers-by. Despite being young and tall, coupled with a bicycle, this is considered a good family in the 49 cities of the era. Many girls blushed at the moment they saw him. Jia Dongfang didn't bother so much. He found an empty corner of the alley, took out a pound of pork and beef, as well as a can of malt milk powder, and went straight home. As we approached the courtyard, it was gradually getting dark. From afar at the door, Jia Dongfang saw his cheap old lady Jia Zhang leading Qin Huairu and her companions guarding the door, accompanied by the third master Yan Fugui. P.S. New book. I hope all readers can support me. Free flowers and review tickets are good, full of motivation. Thank you. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. Education meme, give him a couple first. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After seeing Jia Dongfang return, Jia Zhang and Qin Huairu finally breathed a sigh of relief. She was worried that Jia Dongfang wouldn't know the way back. What if he got lost when it was too late? But soon, they found out that Jia Dongfang had returned on his bicycle, and there were 2 pieces of meat hanging on the front of the bike. This made Jia Zhang so happy that he quickly pointed to his bicycle and said with a smile, "Dongfang, did you buy this bicycle and meat?" Yan Fugui, who was standing beside him, also stared at him with shining eyes. Jia Dongfang, however, said calmly, "Can it still be something that falls from the sky if it's not something I bought? By the way, my job has also been resolved. I work at a steel rolling mill as the deputy head of the procurement department." As soon as these words were spoken, they immediately made Jia Zhang dance with joy. "Oh my God! Isn't that your son? You have become a leader." Yan Fugui and Qin Huairu on the side were also shocked. Buying a bicycle in their yard is considered a big deal. Is there a leader here? Aren't we all going to have to go crazy in the yard? Qin Huairu's gaze towards Jia Dongfang was also somewhat ambiguous. My own man has been working with an 8th level fitter in the factory for so long, and he's only a 2nd level worker. Surprisingly, this guy just became a leader and even bought a bicycle. They were all born to the same mother. Why is there such a big difference? Jia Dongfang nodded lightly in response to the shock of the group. "Oh my! Son, you're so amazing. Old Jia, did you hear that? Our family has become a leader. Jia Zhang's voice was already loud, let alone she was shouting and shouting now, and Jia Dongfang in front of her had a painful ear. He quickly said with a stern face and a deep voice, "All right, come on, stop shouting. This matter is not completely settled yet. Don't promote it everywhere." Watching her son lose his temper, Jia Zhang quickly calmed down and stopped speaking. "Mom. Mom is just too happy, son. Mom won't say anything," he said with a smirk. After calming down, Jia Dongfang said, "All right, take these 2 pieces of meat home and make something delicious tonight to celebrate." "Hey, good, good." After taking the meat, Jia Zhang eagerly dragged Qin Huairu home. The third master felt a pain as he watched the meat fly away like this. But soon he realized it again, turned his head to look at Jia Dongfang, and smiled at him, saying, "Jia's second son, do you remember who I am?" How could Jia Dongfang not remember Yan Laoshi, who had been calculating all his life? In the TV series, his famous saying, "Never be poor in food, never be poor in clothing, never calculate to be the poorest," left a deep impression on him. So he responded with a smile, "Isn't that the third master? Of course he remembers." As he spoke, he took out a bag of front doors from his pocket and handed it to the third master. This made him extremely happy. He quickly took the cigarette, sniffed it carefully, and his expression was very enjoyable. Before he could speak, Jia Dongfang directly lit a fire and handed it to him. The third grandpa looked a bit funny as he swallowed clouds and puffed up mist. "Third master, I have something else to do, so I'll go home first." Yan Fugue was still immersed in the smell of smoke and blurted out a promise, "Okay, okay, you go back." Jia Dongfang pushed his bicycle over, but his face was smiling and shaking his head. San Deyi is considered his favorite character in the original drama. Although he is stingy, he is also a gentleman who loves money and takes it wisely. As a teacher of the people, he was the first to pick up waste and pay money to silly pillars. The recent commotion also caught the attention of many people. On the short journey back, many people greeted him. "Oh, the second son of the Jia family has returned. Do you remember me? I even hugged you when I was a child. Mr. Huang, when you moved in, I was already able to make soy sauce. You remember the cross again. Hey, Jia Air, do you still recognize me? Jia Cheng, Moving out from home, are you free now? Dongfang, I just heard you say that you're going to become a department head. Shouldn't you also celebrate in our yard? Hahaha, this matter is still uncertain. It's not too late to celebrate once it's confirmed. Jia Dongfang has a very good attitude and is amiable. He mainly wants to establish good relationships with his neighbors, as he will continue to live here in the future." Entering the courtyard, Jia Dongfang saw another familiar figure. An old man named Zhonghai was intentionally or unintentionally taking a walk in the courtyard when he saw him and immediately walked over. "Dongfang, why don't you come back and sit at Grandpa's house? You loved coming to our house to eat what you just ate when you were a child." "Grandpa, haven't I just returned and just solved my work matters? I'm sure I'll come visit your house in a few days." "Hahaha, that's good, I'm afraid you'll forget about how your mother and I used to treat you well." Upon hearing these words, Jia Dongfang's originally happy face suddenly hesitated for a moment. Zhonghai's words clearly remind him not to forget the goodness of their family. As soon as he returned, this old man was ready to re-establish him as a retirement object. "Grandpa, you can rest assured that no matter what you do, you won't be forgotten." Jia Dongfang left a vague answer and pushed his bike home directly. Leaving Zhonghai standing awkwardly in the yard, feeling a bit lost. But fortunately, Jia Dongfang's answer did not directly reject him. So Zhonghai also wants to help him more in the factory in the future, which will be beneficial for his retirement plan. After parking the bike, I saw Qin Huairu busy with meat in the kitchen. And Jia Zhang was sitting on the Kong in the room, collecting shoes, with Huai lying beside her. She was staring around with her big black eyes, her fleshy little face looking very cute and charming, similar to her sister-in-law Qin Huairu. Jia Dongfang couldn't help but kiss her, making the little locust flower giggle foolishly. His pink and tender little hands could only grasp one of his fingers. It seems that after eating a little rice paste, the little locust flower has also settled down quite well. Hey, haven't Bang Gung and Xiao Dang come back so late yet? Jia Dongfang couldn't help but ask. These two children ran out to play with their friends as soon as they came back, and I guess they should be back soon. Jia Zhang responded happily, feeling extremely satisfied with his young son. At this moment, a commotion spread outside the door. Mom, I'm back. Jia Zhang, who was standing beside her, laughed and said, well, when you talk about them, they really came back. Jia Dongfang is also eager to see what the rogue saint stick meme in the drama looks like. In the original drama, he was a heartless white-eyed wolf who, after the death of Qin Huairu, drove silly Zhu out of his home and eventually froze to death under the overpass. But now that he has traveled back and is the uncle of Bada Gung, he naturally won't let such a thing happen. And it's important to tune this meme well. As for children, being impolite is mostly just pretending, just give them a beating. Jia Zhang stood up and walked down the Kong, just as he was about to go out and take his stick to recognize his uncle. Unexpectedly, as soon as they arrived at the door, a figure rushed in and collided with them. If it weren't for Jia Zhang's large body size, short stature, and relatively low center of gravity, otherwise this collision could have really fallen to the ground. Oh, my dear grandson, as for being so urgent. Jia Zhang said with a painful expression on her face as she crossed her waist. The stick with a mushroom head said with a smile, oh grandma, didn't you intentionally block me at this door? My mom said my uncle came back. Did he bring me anything delicious? Upon hearing these words, Jia Zhang's originally painful expression immediately turned into a smile. Pointing at Jia Dongfang behind him, he said, look, this is your uncle, dear. Kanji looked at the person and walked over with his waist crossed, looking proud and coquettish. Uncle, did you bring me something delicious back? At that time, Jia Dongfang saw the scene in his eyes. He smiled at the corner of his mouth and said with a kind expression, you reach out your hand, and I'll tell you. The simple stick meme thought Jia Dongfang was going to give him snacks, and happily extended his hands. Who knew that Jia Dongfang directly plagiarized the bamboo pole next to him and hit the palm of the stick stem heavily? Oh my! It hurts so much. You! Why are you hitting me? Jia Zhang, who was standing beside her, watched as her obedient grandson was beaten and protected him behind her with heartache. She quickly said, Dongfang, what are you doing? He's still a child. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 5. Licking the dog, stupid pillar comes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Listening to what Jia Zhang was saying, Jia Dongfang didn't answer. Instead, he held on to the Huai and said coldly, if you're a man, stand up for me. What kind of skill is hiding behind your grandmother? Bang Ji seems to have been inexplicably beaten, feeling a bit dissatisfied. Coupled with his family's pampering, he has a bit of a temper. Listening to Jia Dongfang's provocation, he walked out and covered his hands with red eyes, saying, did I make a mistake? You hit me without saying anything, what kind of uncle? Xiao Dang, who was following him, also cautiously pushed back a step. The movement inside immediately attracted Qin Huairu, who was cooking in the kitchen outside the door. She thought it was a stick meme that offended Jia Dongfang, so she hurriedly ran in. Looking at the two people facing each other, I didn't know who to help for a moment. Until Jia Dongfang spoke seriously and said, do you know what mistake you made just now? Unfortunately, the stick meme still stuck around his neck and said discontentedly, "What mistakes can I make?" Without saying a word, Jia Dongfang directly handed the Huai to Qin Huairu, and then took advantage of the unexpected stem of the stick to grab his hand and fiercely drew it down. With a loud bang, followed closely by the screams of Bang Ji. "Oh! It hurts so much." This time, it directly brought tears to the small eyes of the stick, and there was no longer the arrogance just now. Instead, he turned his head to look at Qin Huairu and Jia Zhang next to him and pleaded, "Mom, Grandma, help me quickly." Qin Huairu and Jia Zhang couldn't figure out why Jia Dongfang wanted to use the stick meme. So they all prepared to speak up and persuade, "Dongfang, uncle." Unexpectedly, Jia Dongfang shook his hand and asked in reverse, "Let me ask you, if the floor was a bit slippery just now and you rushed in like that and hit your grandmother, what would you do if she fell to the ground? Or rather, what would happen if your mother was pregnant and you bumped into her like this?" As soon as Jia Dongfang spoke, Qin Huairu and Jia Zhang finally understood his true intentions. Especially for Jia Zhang, when she heard her youngest son worried about falling, her heart was moved beyond words. Uncle taking care of his nephew, this is nothing but ordinary. So the two of them finally let go and prepared to stand idly by. But the meme on the side was dumbfounded. He never thought about the consequences of his impatient behavior. But it was only after Jia Dongfang's reminder that he realized what mistake he had made. But he, who has always been pampered, will not immediately admit it. Instead, he blushed and said, I didn't mean it." Upon hearing these words, Jia Dongfang immediately drew again, and with a loud bang, it turned the batsman red. "Ah! You let go of me. It hurts me so much. Woo-woo. You still don't admit your mistake, do you?" Jia Dongfang's face turned cold, and the force on his wrist did not diminish at all. He then drew down again. Jia Zhang and Qin Huairu beside her were both heartbroken, and Xiao Dang couldn't help but cover his eyes. Only the Huai in Qin Huairu's arms began to babble happily with the sound. After a while, Bang Ji finally fell from the battle and sat on the ground begging for mercy with a mournful cry. I was wrong. I won't dare to hit me again next time, don't hit me, woo-woo." Upon hearing these words, Jia Dongfang released his hand and said coldly, "Then I'll ask you what you should do next time you go home." Upon hearing these words, Bang Ji's brain suddenly froze, revealing a wise gaze. This made Jia Dongfang very angry. He picked up the bamboo pole next to him and couldn't help but pat it, but this time it wasn't on his hand, but on his buttocks. The painful stick jumped up and spun around the house, crying and constantly rubbing its buttocks. Jia Zhang was so heartbroken that she wanted to interject and say something, but Jia Dongfang glared directly at her and said, "This child has been used to by you. How dare you still want to help him speak now?" Jia Zhang finally dared not interrupt when asked such a question. I should slowly come in. No. I can't rush in like that. Woo-woo." Listening to the answer from Bang Ji, Jia Dongfang finally showed a satisfied expression, then nodded and said, "The next time you see a stranger, dare you directly ask if they have brought you any delicious food. Do you think this is polite?" Bang Ji originally spoke up to say he dared, because he was like this to silly Zhu, but when he saw the swaying bamboo pole in Jia Dongfang's hand, he immediately shook his head like a tambourine. I can't do it anymore. Upon hearing the satisfactory answer, Jia Dongfang finally took a deep breath. Then he walked into the room, rummaged through his package, and took out a bag of white rabbit milk candy and 2 boxes of Prairie Hero Sisters biscuits. Then he waved to Xiao Dang and said, "Xiao Dang, come here." Xiao Dang was worried that he would also be beaten, so he quickly turned his head to look at Qin Huairu. But he saw his mother shake her head, obviously unable to help. Therefore, she could only watch as Jia Dongfang's snacks approached step by step with small steps. "Uncle. Hello, uncle." Perhaps it's because my family has become accustomed to favoring boys over girls. I haven't eaten anything nutritious since I was young, and I look a bit pale and thin. However, in terms of politeness, it's still much better than using memes. Jia Dongfang gently rubbed her little head, then took out a box of cookies and some big white rabbit milk candy from a nearby bag and handed it to Xiaodang. Xiaodang, have you remembered all the things I taught your brother earlier? Looking at the snacks in his hand, Xiaodang was overjoyed and quickly nodded, saying obediently, "Remember uncle, I definitely won't do that." Upon hearing these words, Bang Ji felt as if he had been beaten up. Why is it that only he was beaten? At this moment, Jia Zhang suddenly interjected and said, "Dongfang, Xiaodang is just a girl. You don't need to give her so many snacks." This sentence is waiting for Jia Dongfang's cold face. Jia Zhang looked at this posture and then covered her mouth before daring to speak. But Qin Huairu didn't say a word, because she knew that everything her uncle did was for the good of these two children. In the past, when only she and her mother-in-law were at home, she never dared to care about this eldest son. Now that there is an additional man in charge of the family, it is also a delightful thing for her. On the side, with his buttocks covered and his hands clenched, Bataji was huddled in a corner, his eyes fixed on the snacks in Xiaodang's hand, envious. Jia Dongfang glanced at him with a pitiful expression, and his heart was pounding with headaches. I used to be extremely angry watching this white-eyed wolf in a TV drama, but now I finally got what I wanted and beat him up. It's really uncomfortable. However, as an uncle, he still knows how to level a bowl of water. He waved at the meme and his serious expression turned into a smile. "Stick meme, come over here." Bang Ji's heart seemed to be a bit scared. After a slight hesitation, he saw the bamboo pole in Jia Dongfang's hand that was about to fall but had not yet been put down, and walked over cautiously. Jia Dongfang looked in his eyes and felt happy in his heart. He took a can of cookies from the side and handed it to Bang Ji, saying earnestly, "Bang Ji, you are the man in this family, so uncle hopes you can take the lead. This is why he is stricter with you. Can you understand uncle me?" Kanji looked at the biscuit in his hand and nodded, saying, "I can do it, uncle." "Uncle, what are you doing?" Bang Ji suddenly saw the bamboo pole in Jia Dongfang's hand about to fall, and quickly hid away with the biscuit in his arms, trembling with fear. Jia Dongfang smiled happily at the corner of his mouth and said, "No, uncle heard me wrong just now. It's good if you can understand uncle." Bang Ji felt speechless for a moment, but the biscuits in his hand and the milk candy on the table made him unable to say a word. Later, Jia Dongfang sent some big white rabbit milk candy to Bang Gung and admonished him a few words before letting him go. "Alright, let's go eat this snack, but we'll be eating soon. Eat less, okay?" Bang Ji, holding the snack, almost completely forgot about the pain just now. He nodded happily and ran to the Kong to eat the snack. At this moment, a shout suddenly spread outside the door. "Qin Jie, come out quickly. I brought back the lunchbox." Jia Dongfang smiled at the sound and realized he was a foolish pillar. "P.S. Please support us with some flowers and review tickets, thank you Qingming outing in happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6. Delicious dumplings, fun. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Upon hearing Silly Zhu's shout, Qin Huairu felt a bit embarrassed. After all, before Jia Dongfang returned, he had always relied on his beauty to bring boxed meals from Silly Pillars to satisfy his family's hunger. This also made Silly Zhu's heart burst with joy, transforming from his sister-in-law to Qin Jie. Jia Dongfang walked out of the door and indeed saw it at a glance. The silly pillar with an old face was looking at their doorstep with a silly smile. As soon as the two of them met, the foolish pillar quickly took a step back as if he had seen a ghost. Dongxu. Have you survived? Silly Zhu stuttered a bit. Jia Dongfang didn't want to take advantage of that cheap old man's reputation and said in disgust, "It's me, Jia Dongfang. I'm back." After listening to these words, Silly Zhu still had some disbelief. He cautiously looked at Jia Dongfang and said in confusion, "Are you Jia Lauer who joined the army 10 years ago?" Qin Huairu jokingly said, "It's really the East, my uncle. Pillar, you don't need to deliver boxed meals to our house in the future. With uncle around, we won't be short of food anymore." Silly Zhu felt a bit disappointed when he heard these words. Unexpectedly, Jia Dongfang lightly hammered his chest and jokingly said, "What's wrong? Are you still unhappy when I'm back?" When it comes to the relationship between Jia Dongfang and Silly Zhu back then, it's not that good. It's like growing up wearing a pair of pants. So upon hearing these words, Silly Zhu immediately laughed happily and said, "That's not possible. You stinky kid, too. You haven't even sent a letter home for so many years. I thought you were honored on the battlefield." Jia Dongfang also smiled and then said, "Since that's the case, let's have dinner at my house tonight. Coincidentally, I bought some meat today. How many hands can you help me, the chef?" Silly Zhu glanced at Qin Huairu and realized that she hadn't said anything, so he smiled and said, "Okay. Since that's the case, I'll go call my sister over too. Be more lively. Go ahead, I haven't seen any rain in years, and I don't know if you're taking good care of that little girl. Hey, you kid, my own sister, can't you be okay?" After an hour, the food was finally ready. It has to be said that Silly Pillar's craftsmanship is indeed good. The aroma of meat and vegetables has already permeated early on, and many people in the yard have gathered to smell it. "Let's have dinner now. The vegetables are brought by the rain, and at this age, it is a time of youthful vigor. With a ponytail tied up and swaying back and forth, it is very cute." However, before the dishes were finished, Jia Zhang picked up a large piece of meat with chopsticks and placed it in the bowl of the stick. He kept smiling and said, "Good grandson, hurry up and eat your favorite meat." Bang Ji looked at the meat in the bowl, almost drooling at the smell. Just as he was about to move his chopsticks, a chopstick next to him slammed into his hand. "Ah! Who is it?" Bang Ji quickly covered his hands and shouted impatiently. But looking back, I saw Jia Dongfang's serious expression. This startled him and he tightened his body, stuttering, "Uncle. Uncle." Jia Zhang, who was on the side, was also somewhat puzzled and asked, "What's wrong with Dongfang? How can we beat the child if we eat well?" Jia Dongfang, however, said coldly with a displeased expression, "The adults haven't served yet. What dishes do the children eat? There are no rules at all." At this moment, the silly pillar next to him stood up to smooth things out and said with a smile, "Hey, Dongfang, don't be so serious, you've scared the child into a shadow. Come on. Let's have dinner." Unexpectedly, Qin Huairu on the side stopped him and advised, "Pillar, Dongfang is also good for the stick. You are his foolish uncle, and you don't want to harm him, do you?" This statement completely blocked Silly Zhu's mouth. Jia Dongfang then continued, "Stick meme, remember to be polite when guests are present. When everyone is seated together, you can only move your chopsticks when adults move them. Do you understand?" Bang Ji touched his hand and nodded in grievance. Jia Dongfang's face improved a bit and he immediately said to Silly Zhu, "Zhu, you also know the stick meme. He is the only boy in the third generation of the old Jia family, representing the third generation of the old Jia family. Now being spoiled by you, it's difficult to stand up straight, not to mention pushing the bar. And he's still the boss, who can bring bad luck to Xiaodang and Huai. Do you think I taught him wrong?" Silly Zhu had never thought about this issue, and now he realized it only after Jia Dongfang said so. "I used to seem accustomed to using memes to do bad things." "Oh, you have more knowledge than me." "You're right. Come on, let's drink together." Drink, let me see if your alcohol tolerance has increased over the years. That's necessary. The two of them moved their chopsticks and looked at Qin Huairu with a determined gaze before indulging in it. Qin Huairu also put some meat in Xiao Dang's bowl, but was soon stared at by Jia Zhang. Jia Dongfang, who was watching this scene on the side, also felt a bit tired. The atmosphere of this family still needs to be changed slowly on his own. I don't know how long it will be before Jia Dongfang finishes his remaining 3 bottles of baijiu. He usually shakes when he walks. He usually's face turns red and is helped home by he rainwater. Mom, my uncle has come back and we only have a Kong at home. How can we live here? Jia and Zhang had already taken countermeasures. You sleep inside with Xiaodang Huaihua, I sleep next to Xiaodang, and Bongging sleeps between me and Dongfang. Qin Huairu nodded in embarrassment, there was no other way. But the thought of sharing the same bed with the man we just met today made me feel embarrassed, and I used to take advantage of the stick to sleep, pull a cloth grid in the living room, and then scrub my body. What can I do today? I can't do without taking a shower. In the summer, I'm sweating all over and can't sleep without taking a shower. Jia Dongfang didn't have this kind of trouble. Taking advantage of the darkness, he put on his big shorts and tactical vest as a change of clothes, poured 2 buckets of water and carried them to the bathroom, painfully rinsing his body. After returning, I saw that Bangung Xiaodang was already asleep, and Qin Huairu and Jia Zhang were still fully armed sitting on the Kong. After seeing Jia Dongfang enter, Jia Zhang immediately welcomed him and took the bucket. Dongfang, have you taken a shower yet? From now on, you can sleep outside with a stick, okay? Unexpectedly, Jia Dongfang directly spread the worn-out bedding on the ground, lay it up, and then said, no need, I'll just sleep on the ground. After a while, I won't be living here after the house I applied for comes down. Upon hearing Dongfang's statement that she would not be staying here, Jia Zhang was shocked and pale-faced. She quickly grabbed Jia Dongfang's arm and anxiously asked. Dongfang, where are you going? You can't leave Mom behind. Wherever you want to go, I'll move to the teacher Fu's house in the front yard. Isn't he going to move away? The room has been assigned to me. Really, that would be great. His house is quite large, with 2 ear rooms, enough for you to marry a wife in the future. Oh, by the way, my brother's position can be taken over by Xiaowe's sister. Law when she's a little older. I'll find someone to arrange a more relaxed position for her then. By then, Jia Dongfang had confidence in doing well, so he didn't worry at all. Upon hearing Jia Dongfang's words, Jia Zhang's triangular eyes lit up in the darkness, and Jia Dongfang looked a bit scared. Isn't our family going to become a dual-worker family? Oh my God, who in the entire courtyard is better than ours? Qin Huairu, who was sitting beside her, was also a little excited and gratefully said to Jia Dongfang, thank you, uncle first. What's there to thank for the whole family? Sister-in-law, you should eat more these days, be nutritious, and your body will recover quickly. It won't be long before you can go to work. Well, it's all arranged by the uncle. Qin Huairu sweetly replied, feeling extremely amazed. It's better to have a man at home. Jia Dongfang nodded but didn't continue speaking. He closed his eyes and was indeed a bit tired today. Jia Zhang saw that Jia Dongfang was about to fall asleep and quickly spoke up, Dongfang, your sister-in-law and I haven't taken a shower yet. Can you go outside and wait for a while? Qin Huairu on the side also blushed a bit when she heard these words. Fortunately, the lights were not turned on, and the peach blush on her face was not visible in the night. Jia Dongfang stood up helplessly, walked to the door, took out the front door, and started smoking. For some reason, listening to the sound of water in the room always made him feel a little hot, especially the sweet smile of Qin Huairu during the day. As soon as Jia Dongfang thought of this, he quickly shook his head and muttered to himself, what are you thinking? That's sister-in-law. But the dumplings are delicious and fun. P.S. I hope all readers can support me. Here are some free flowers and review tickets. Thank you Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 7. Harvest in the Wild, Jia Zhang's Family. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The next morning, when it was still dawn, Jia Dongfang woke up. I was originally thinking of sleeping a little longer, but Jia Zhang's snoring was too loud and she couldn't sleep anymore after waking up. Jia Dongfang had to tiptoe and put on his clothes before going out to wash up. System, sign in. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully signing in, receiving 10 Great Unity tickets, 1 pound of big white rabbit milk candy, and 680 milliliters x5 of green plum wine. The rewards are much worse than yesterday's. It's estimated that the rewards will be more abundant when certain special events are triggered. But having 10 Great Unity cards would be great. After Jia Dongfang finished washing up, he realized that it was still early and he didn't have to go to work. Staying at home alone was quite boring, so he decided to go to the countryside to try out the animal attractant he had obtained yesterday. After thinking it over, Jia Dongfang returned to the room and left a message with a stick and pen, saying, "Don't worry when you go out to visit your comrades." After being placed in a prominent position on the table, Jia Dongfang went out directly. After the sound of closing the door rang, Qin Huairu, lying on the kong, blushed and breathed a sigh of relief. Because she replenished too much last night, her milk increased significantly at night, but Jia Dongfang didn't dare to feed Huai, so she didn't fall asleep much all night. When Jia Dongfang changed clothes just now, she felt a bit restless and uneasy all over. I had to hold back my hot cheeks and continue pretending to sleep. Pushing his bicycle for about an hour, Jia Dongfang finally arrived in the countryside. The countryside is different from the city, and the farmers here rely more on the morning time. Because it is cooler and more alert, it is more convenient and flexible. Jia Dongfang found a hidden corner and looked around to see no one around before using the space to put away his bicycle. Then I walked inside along the mountain road for a while, only to stop when I heard the sound of the stream. Surrounded by lush foliage, lush vegetation, and streams, there are probably many wild animals that come here. It is precisely Jia Dongfang's ideal hunting ground. Jia Dongfang directly pulled up some grass, chose a relatively open space, and then took out some animal attractants that were rewarded by the system yesterday, mixed with these grass. Jia Dongfang smelled this animal attractant, which was colorless and tasteless. He thought it should only have an effect on animals other than humans. After roughly sprinkling some, Jia Dongfang quickly hid and observed towards higher areas around him. Because the smell needed to evaporate and dissipate, after about 10 minutes, the nearby grass finally heard a rustling sound. But it was a bit too hot in the mountains and forests, and Jia Dongfang couldn't bear it anymore. He was sweating all over, so he took off his shorts and jumped into the nearby stream. In this era, there is no need to worry about pesticide pollution in rivers, they can be enjoyed with peace of mind. Listening to a rustling sound coming from the forest behind him, Jia Dongfang calmed down and realized that his trap had finally caught prey. So he quickly climbed onto the shore, put on his clothes, and slowly approached the empty space just now. As expected, the grass on the empty ground just now has disappeared completely, replaced by 3 wild boars and 4 wild rabbits lying on the ground next to them. This excites Jia Dongfang so much. I didn't expect to reap such a bountiful harvest from the first construction. Without hesitation, Jia Dongfang directly found a sharp stone nearby and smashed it fiercely at the heads of these sleeping wild boars and rabbits. The wild boar and the wild rabbit both twitched, but there were no signs of waking up. So Jia Dongfang took out a knife from the space and fiercely inserted it into the necks of the wild boar and rabbit, euthanizing them. After the wild boars died completely, Jia Dongfang collected them into the space and skinned them, dividing them into 3 large wild boars weighing a total of 400 to 500 pounds. Put the water in the corner of the space, please have some time to play with it. It's really impossible to do that without skills. The rabbit also dealt with 2 and left 2 alive. Later, Jia Dongfang repeated his old trick and received several wild chickens and rabbits. If there was only one wild boar, it was estimated that the wild boar on this mountain was almost gone. After handling everything, Jia Dongfang took out his bicycle and went home. When he returned, almost all the workers had finished work, and Jia Dongfang, who was covered in meat, caused a considerable sensation. Especially the goalkeeper, Mr. 3, stared straight at the pig in the water. Oh, Jia, where did this pig's water and wild chicken come from? Why haven't they been cleaned up yet? Hey, I'm not idle. Today, I went to the countryside to visit my comrades in arms, and by chance, he hit something and forced me to pass it on. Yan Bugui smacked his lips and was very envious. As soon as Jia Dongfang returned, he was a cadre and heard that his salary should be over 50. Interview your comrades, there is so much meat to eat. It's not like your own family. Salted vegetables have to be divided by head. It's really like people die more than people. Yan Bugui has always been a loser without taking advantage. It's such a hot day, can't we finish eating it? How about I help you share some of it, Mr. San? In the future, we will also send you the meat that our family can't finish eating. Jia Dongfang sneered and pursed his lips, saying. The third master would joke, your pickled vegetables have to be divided by roots, and there are times when you can't finish eating meat. If you really want it, then ask the 3 aunties to help clean up the pig offal and cut some of it for you to drink and eat. Jia Dongfang knew that Yan Bugui was greedy for small gains, so he gave him something he didn't want himself. And he's right, it's definitely bad if you can't finish it in this weather. Yan Bugui was so happy to hear Jia Dongfang's words that he could see his back teeth. Cheng, your 3 mothers will come up and help you tidy up. That would be troublesome. As soon as I arrived at the courtyard, I saw Qin Huairu washing and hanging the clothes she had changed from last night on a rope. After seeing Jia Dongfang return, Qin Huairu remembered the morning scene, blushing and wiping the water off her hands. Uncle, you're back. Mom has been worried all day today. Jia Dongfang handed the meat to Qin Huairu. Where is she? Looking at the little locust flower, go inside. The little locust flower is awake now. Jia Dongfang handed the processed wild chicken meat to Qin Huairu. Sister-in-law, let's stew this wild chicken first. Later, the 3 aunties will clean up the pig's water and stir-fry a few more pig's water tonight. Qin Huairu took the chicken and looked back at Zhonghai's house with an embarrassed expression on her face, whispering in a low voice. Uncle, this afternoon Aunt E came to our house and said she made dumplings today. She asked us to come over and eat, as well as Silly Zhu and the deaf old lady. Mom has already agreed. Jia Dongfang tied the wild chicken's legs tightly with a rope and fastened them to the stake. Since you agreed, then go ahead and stew the chicken soup as usual. Drink some chicken soup to make up for it, so as not to let the little locust flowers. Although Qin Huairu is already a mother of 3 children, she has never received any attention in this family. When she heard Jia Dongfang's words, she only felt her nose ache. You should drink the chicken soup. The whole family relies on you, and the procurement staff often go to the countryside, which is very difficult. Just as Jia Dongfang was about to say something, he saw the 3 aunties coming. Jia Lauer, with so many pigs in the water, I'm a bit tired. I'll give you more later. Oh, why bother you? Your third uncle likes to drink braised pig hearts. Okay, third aunt, you don't need to click on me. After cleaning it up, I'll give you the pig's heart. After finishing speaking, he went into the house first, and Qin Huairu also followed in. The small locust flowers in the room were playing babbling, while Jia Zhang was putting on her insoles. When she saw Jia Dongfang come in, she nodded expressionlessly, then gave Qin Huairu a fierce glare and muttered, Fox spirit. Jia Dongfang gently picked up the small locust flower and looked at Jia Zhang's chubby face helplessly, saying, "What happened? Did you do this to me the next day after you just came back?" Jia Zhang threw the insole in her hand onto the Kong and pointed to the package on Jia Dongfang's floor. "Did you buy those fabrics? Are they for home use?" Jia Dongfang was taken aback. It seemed that the problem was with the fabric. "Yeah, I bought it from the supply and marketing cooperative yesterday when I came back, making clothes for adults and children." Jia Zhang pursed her lips and pointed at what Jia Dongfang was about to say in disappointment. When she saw Qin Huairu standing by the door, she immediately turned her focus. Pointing at Qin Huairu, who was still feeling cramped, he cursed loudly. "You fox spirit, it's not enough to kill my Dongxu. You also want to seduce my Dongfang and ask him to buy flower cloth for you and two losers to make clothes. I don't even have my mother. I might as well go see Lao Jiao. I want to tell him that you bullied me." This old lady Jia Dongfang was overjoyed. There was no summoning of the undead, and no one took him away. Negative review. Qin Huairu glanced at Jia Dongfang in the fabric. She also thought that the floral cloth was specially bought for her, and that her uncle was greedy for her body. The indescribable feeling in my heart, there are both fear and anxiety, perhaps mixed with a faint joy. P.S. Please support us with some free flowers and review tickets, dear readers. Thank you Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. Zhonghai, who harbors ill intentions, is moved by emotions. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Jia Dongfang finally understood. Jia Zhang thought she didn't have her share and became jealous and angry, but he didn't say a word to himself or let old Jia take him away. "Okay, Bang Ji and I use Dacron to make clothes, can you, sister.in.law, and Xiao Deng use floral cloth to make clothes. Also, be more at home. I hate noisy people. If I don't come back for 9 years, I can never come back." As soon as these words were spoken, Jia Zhang's criticism of Qin Huairu came to a sudden halt, fearing that her youngest son would really leave and never come back. "I forced him away at first, but now it's been 2 days since I came back, and I haven't even called myself mom." The room quieted down, only the sound of Jia Dongfang teasing the little locust flowers. Both Jia Zhang and Qin Huairu knew that in the future, the head of this family would be Jia Dongfang. They still couldn't understand his true nature and temperament, and they all had concerns and dared not provoke him in front of Jia Dongfang. But Jia Dongfang became the deputy department head, and the whole family had to rely on him. Silly Zhu came back from work and greeted him at the door. Seeing that the atmosphere was not very good, he directly accompanied the 3 aunties to tidy up the pig's water. The only one who cooks today can be a silly pillar. At the dinner table in the evening, Zhonghai's thoughts became firm again as he looked at the table filled with meat and vegetables. Jia Zhang was quickly picking up meat with his stick and small dang, while Qin Huairu was holding a small locust flower in her arms, and the chopsticks in her hands never stopped. Silly Zhu brought 3 bottles of Nyolan Mountain over and filled them with wine for Zhonghai and Jia Dongfang. The few of them drank beautifully. Zhonghai saw that Jia Zhangshi and Bongan no longer had the previous posture of wanting to snatch all their flesh, and he was even more impressed by Jia Dongxing's methods of governing the family. Young and capable, already the deputy department head. A veteran who knows the root and bottom of the story has no problem with his character. Before, Aunt often gave Jia Dongfang food, and her relationship was also good. Coincidentally, Jia Dongxu is gone, and a better Jia Dongfang has arrived. I deserve someone from Zhonghai to retire, but I just need to pay more. After 3 rounds of wine and 5 flavors of food, the reddened old man looked at Jia Dongfang, who was still drinking with silly pillar. "Jia Lauer, your family only has 1 room. How do you live now? Jia Dongfang took a deep look at Zhonghai, and then saw an old lady also looking at him. This kind of thing should not be his concern. Since he said it, there must be a reason. Make a floor, then how else would you sleep? Zhonghai and an old lady exchanged a glance, then turned to Jia Dongfang and said. That's really inconvenient. There's a house behind my house that was originally planned for my son to live in, but I didn't expect it to be used. Dongfang, do you want to move in? With this, Jia Dongfang understood. The original plan was to give his son a place to live, and his name changed from Jia Lauer to Dongfang. He said he would come in instead of coming over. Just say the house is for you, and you will provide us with retirement in the future. Jia Dongfang shook his head with a serious tone. Thank you, Grandpa. The factory will allocate a house for me in a few days. I need to take care of both the elderly and the young here. I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best. The meaning behind the scenes is that there is no shortage of houses, let alone retirement for you. Zhonghai and his aunt naturally recognized it, gave an awkward smirk, and beckoned everyone to continue eating. A middle-aged woman went to the kitchen to serve dumplings. At the signal of Jia Dongfang, both Bang Gung and Xiao Dang went to help carry bowls, while Silly Zhu brought a bowl to the deaf old lady. There were too many meat and vegetables tonight, and everyone was already full. Everyone ate a few dumplings. The rest was divided among the three families, and tomorrow morning it was a delicious breakfast to fry in oil. Jia Zhang couldn't bear to part with the remaining meat and vegetables and brought some back. Jia Dongfang didn't stop either. The remaining meat and vegetables from last night were eaten by her and Qin Huairu this morning. At the entrance of Jia's house, Jia Dongfang and Jia Zhang said to let them wash first. He smoked and rested in the middle courtyard, and when they finished washing, they just called out to him. Looking at the moon in the sky through the eaves, the silver moonlight gently sprinkled on the tiles, and the night breeze blew away the prominent smoke of Jia Dongfang. In my past life, I always felt that there were no good people in the courtyard, but condensing everyone's lives into dozens of TV episodes would inevitably be biased. There is no doubt that Zhonghai is a righteous hypocrite, but who doesn't have their own careful thinking? He's just a desperate person looking for someone to retire and throw a bucket. Perhaps later on, in order to achieve his goals, he did everything possible, but at this time, he still had a bottom line. Silly Zhu really has a stinky mouth. He looks at everything and wants to scold him, thinking he's amazing. In fact, it is also a forced habit. Lao he ran away with the White Widow, and a young man with his sister suffered from all the bad looks and rumors. As an orphan, he could only stretch his body like a lizard, trying to show his strength. Liking widows may be due to genetics or a lack of maternal love, but in terms of memory, he is indeed good to Jia Dongfang. Many times, he has expressed that if Jia Dongfang cannot find a wife, he will introduce he rainwater to him. Looking at the roof of old Zhang's house in the front yard, it belongs to me the day after tomorrow, and I plan to decorate it well. It won't be too out of style, but it's still necessary to renovate the interior, gradually replace furniture, and most importantly, create a separate bathroom. The Jia family is on the right side of the courtyard, and the Lao Zhang family is also on the right side of the courtyard. By connecting the walls of the Lao Zhang family with the Jia family, an additional room can be added. The courtyard houses the Jia family, Zhonghai's family, He Yuzhu's family, and a Long Tao Qian family. With Jia Dongfang's relationship, He Yuzhu will not refuse, and Zhonghai dare not intervene. Even if he has an idea, Jia Dongfang can make him extinguish it. The Qian family would be better able to handle it. The backbone is the security personnel working under Yuan Ji's command, and there will be no objections even with a big stick and sweet dates. Jia Dongfang closed his eyes and counted the materials in the system space. Fortunately, time in the system space is stationary, so those flesh inside won't break at all. As for the malt extract, let's take it out in a couple of days. It's too early to take it out now, which makes me feel a bit too fond of Qin Huairu. Don't make Jia Zhang jealous again when the time comes. The time passed quickly in his mind until someone patted him on the shoulder, and Jia Dongfang woke up in shock. Turning his head, he saw Qin Huai wiping his wet hair, his oval face still showing some post-bath blush, and the buttons on his collar not being fastened. With the shaking brought by wiping hair, that plump figure really makes people feel passionate. I used to be in the army all along, surrounded by rough men. As the saying goes, I have been in the army for 2.5 years, and my mother pig competes with Diao Chan. Looking at Qin Huairu, who was somewhat stunning in front of him, Jia Dongfang felt a little confused and immediately regained his composure. Qin Huairu also felt Jia Dongfang's gaze linger, feeling his skin turn hot. A bright red blush climbed up his neck, but he still forced himself to speak. "Uncle, I'm sorry for keeping you up for so long. Go wash up and go to bed quickly." Jia Dongfang also regained consciousness and thanked her before reminding her to go back and rest early. Taking the laundry bucket to collect water is actually collecting the water into the space and taking a painful shower. Returning to the room, I found Qin Huairu lying on the ground laying a mat, and the newspaper that was originally placed underneath had been replaced with a straw mat. After seeing Jia Dongfang come in, he quickly stood up and smiled, saying, "Uncle, I'm afraid the ground will be cold. I've spread a layer of grass mat for you. You can try lying down." Jia Dongfang took out 10 Great Unity cards from his pocket and handed them to Qin Huairu, saying, "Big brother's pension should be divided into half for you. You can keep it." If Qin Huai heard Jia Dongfang's words and saw the Great Unity, his face would turn pale with fear. He thought that Jia Dongfang was going to separate his family and give him Jia Dongxu's pension to drive him away. If she were to be kicked out, how would she survive with her 3 children? Even if Jia Dongfang left Jia Dongxu's seed and let her leave this house alone with 100 yuan, there would be no way for her to survive. After marrying into the city for so many years, she hasn't been able to support her mother's family. Instead, she has received many things from her mother's family to support the Jia family. She definitely won't be able to go back. Thinking of this, the pretty face was completely devoid of blood. Her trembling lips parted but she couldn't speak, and her body stiffened as she looked at the money in Jia Dongxing's hand. No, it was even more of a life-threatening talisman for her. Jia Dongfang knew what Qin Huairu was thinking when he saw her expression. "Sister-in-law, you misunderstood. You are the daughter-in-law of the Jia family, and no one can drive you away. I gave you money because it should have been yours. I will also take care of a few children, and you will also work hard to earn money when Huaihua grows up." Upon hearing these words, Qin Huairu's face improved, but he still refused to ask for money. P.S. We're going to eat meat in just a few chapters. I hope readers can provide some support. Thank you. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. Qin Huairu's heartbeat helps Lu Xiaoe. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Uncle, I don't need money at home either. You're someone who does big things, so why don't you take the money back? If you want to take it, you can take it. In the future, you can't take Xiao Dang Huaihua out to play without any money. They are clamoring for food, but you can't do without money. Qin Huai gratefully glanced at Jia Dongfang before accepting it, holding it in his palm. It was the first time in his life that he had so much money. In the countryside, all the work she earns is collected by her father, and when she marries the Jia family, it is Jia Dongxu who receives the money and hands it over to Jia Zhang. Now that she has so much money, she is very grateful to Jia Dongfang. Although it was about the compensation from Dongxu, the money was actually from Jia Dongfang, and Jia Zhang's money had not been moved. Thinking of this, he turned around and looked at Jia Zhang with a guilty heart, only to find that she was sleeping and finally let go. Jia Dongfang followed Qin Huairu's gaze and almost burst into laughter. You haven't fallen asleep yet. Don't touch the money I gave to my sister. Law, just keep your own money and spend it. I'm still alive and don't need to save up for retirement. Qin Huairu was puzzled when she saw Jia Dongfang talking to the sleeping Jia Zhang family. Just as she was about to ask something, she heard Jia Dongfang continue to speak. Which sleeping person can swallow saliva and squeak when they hear it? Jia Dongfang was stunned for a moment when he heard a genuine squeak from Jia Zhang. He didn't expect that Jia Zhang still had this side. Immediately burst into laughter. You're also a wonderful person. Hurry up and turn off the lights to sleep, you guys. After speaking, he lay on the floor without realizing it, glanced at Qin Huairu standing beside him, and immediately turned around. Qin Huairu saw Jia Dongfang lying down, her legs subconsciously grabbing the hem of her clothes. She then saw Jia Dongfang turn around and quickly turned off the lights with a red face. In his dream, he played chess with Duke Zhou. Duke Zhou refused to accept the loss and was so angry that Jia Dongfang gave Duke Zhou's daughter a harsh lesson. The consequence is getting up early, changing clothes quietly, and doing laundry quietly. However, Qin Huairu, who had shallow sleep, had already seen everything in her eyes, suppressed the urge to swallow saliva, and squinted to peek. Jia Dongfang, who had finished washing his clothes, looked at the still early time and thought for a moment before pushing his bicycle out for a walk. Mainly a former worker who has never been to 49 cities before, he also wants to take this opportunity to take a good look. There are many more open browsing venues in this era than in previous lives. Parked the car not far from the security personnel, and Jia Dongfang bought a ticket and walked inside. At this time, there were not as many signs or people taking photos in the Forbidden City. Many of them were listening to the elderly explain the past of the Bauhinia city. Jia Dongfang is also slacking off on the side of the class. Many things are still talked about by the elderly and may have some boasting elements, but it's really enjoyable to listen to. Just like this, walking and stopping, turning a corner, I saw a large group of people gathered together, and a woman speaking in English. Jia Dongfang walked over and saw a blonde beauty about 20 years old arguing with the Chinese girl next to her. But the two of them spoke different languages, arguing with each other like playing the piano against a cow, and there were also 3 security guards standing beside them. At this time, there is a saying that diplomacy is not a trivial matter. If a foreigner has an accident in the Forbidden City, the impact is still quite significant. Although Jia Dongfang didn't want to interfere, he still moved forward because the Chinese girl, Lu Xiaoe, was officially ignorant and masked. These days, Su Damao went to the countryside to play movies, and Lu Xiaoe also returned to her mother's house. Jia Dongfang squeezed in and only then did he see the attire of a foreign woman, wearing a low-necked tight black top, black tight denim shorts on the lower body, and a pair of high heels with broken heels on his feet. A typical Eagle country style from the 1960s. Hello, I can translate for you. As soon as the familiar English was spoken, the blonde beauty's eyes immediately turned around, and when she saw Jia Dongfang's handsome and unparalleled face, her eyes lit up even more. Oh my God, finally someone can understand what I'm saying. Hello, sir. Hello, beautiful lady, please tell me directly what happened. I'll go through it for them. After all, it's troublesome to have people gathered here. The blonde beauty pointed to the high heels under her feet. Okay sir, there was a misunderstanding between me and this beautiful lady. My poor high heels got stuck in a brick seam and broke off. It's too embarrassing. I want to buy the shoes in this lady's hand for any amount of money. Jia Dongfang just saw the white embroidered shoes in Lu Xiao's hand and thought for a moment before turning to the blonde beauty. I can help you ask, after all, it's someone else's property. If she doesn't want to sell it, can you please leave first? Thank you very much, sir. Jia Dongfang explained the reason to everyone, and they slowly dispersed, but the 3 security guards were still here, and he also told Lu Xiaoe about the intention of the blonde beauty. Lu Xiaoe is very grateful for the handsome guy who helped her out. After all, she is sensitive to her identity and adheres to the principle of less than more, and does not want to have any relationship with foreign guests. Upon hearing Jia Dongfang's words, without hesitation, he handed the things to Jia Dongfang and said thank you before leaving. Jia Dongfang could also see her fear, so he didn't try to keep her. There will be plenty of opportunities to meet in the future. Hand the things to the blonde beauty. As you wish, that kind lady has given you something. The blonde beauty grabbed her shoes in surprise and smiled happily. Thank you, handsome sir, and also thank the lady for her generosity, but I can't take this for free. How much does it cost? I'm just reporting the person, and I have to go back. I wish you a happy journey. Without waiting for the blonde beauty to continue speaking, he greeted the 3 security guards who had already faintly surrounded him. Hello, 3 comrades. The matter is over. The foreign woman is asking for money, but I didn't ask for it. A middle-aged guard excitedly walked over and shook Jia Dongfang's hand, saying, thank you, comrade. I can't understand these foreign women chattering and talking for a long time. Jia Dongfang laughed and took out the front door to give them a walk. Hi, I used to be a communication translator for aid to North Korea, so I could understand. This sentence mainly aims to explain one's origin and why one knows English, so as not to be regarded as an enemy spy. Upon hearing Jia Dongfang's words, the tense bodies of the other 2 relaxed faintly. The middle-aged guard grabbed Jia Dongfang's hand but did not relax. Still a comrade in arms, my name is Wang Weiguo. You can call me Lao Wang. Which unit is comrade currently in? I want to commend your unit. Jia Dongfang is not afraid of stage either. Brother Wang, my name is Jia Dongfang. I just returned from a job transfer and am the deputy head of the procurement department at the steel rolling mill. Even if I give praise, it's all for the sake of the collective. That's not enough. There should be a lot of praise, otherwise who will do good deeds in the future? Why don't Brother Jia and I go to the office and have a chat? I can't help but hope it's cool and refreshing on a hot day. Jia Dongfang was enthusiastically pulled to the office by Wang Weiguo, chatting passionately all the way, and another guard followed closely. After drinking 2 cups of tea in the office, the 3rd guard came in and nodded at Wang Weiguo. Looking at Jia Dongfang's meaningful smile, Wang Weiguo awkwardly smiled. Brother Jia, please be more understanding. It's your responsibility. After work, I'll treat you to a drink and apologize. Jia Dongfang waved his hand to indicate that it was okay. Wang, it's not that my younger brother is being polite to you. My family is still waiting for me to go back for dinner. Can we reschedule it? I'll treat you to a drink another day. After some idle chatter, Jia Dongfang got on his bike and walked back, but he didn't see the blonde beauty leading a foreigner towards the forbidden city. After riding a bicycle back to the courtyard, the brand new bicycle still attracted the envy of many people. When I got home, the table was already filled with Arhemian mantu, spicy stir-fried cabbage, cold dishes and pickles, as well as a bowl of braised pork belly. Bang Gung and Xiao Dang stood at the table drooling, but did not come to the table. After watching Jia Dongfang return, they repeatedly shouted for Uncle Heir to come back. Jia Dongfang took out a few pieces of sugar from his pocket and gave them as a reward. Looking at Jia Dongfang's kind demeanor, Qin Huai's eyes lit up, hoping that AI would say something but ultimately didn't say it. On the contrary, it was Bata Ji who had dinner and pushed his bike through the courtyard over and over again, enjoying it tirelessly. After dinner, Qin Huairu went to wash dishes, and Jia Zhang held a small locust flower and looked at the stick cart through the glass, worried that stick might accidentally break the bicycle. I am very happy again in my heart. Although my eldest son is gone, my youngest son has returned. Not only did he not blame his brother, but he also took good care of Dongxu's child. As for the baseball meme, Jia Zhang was heartbroken, but he didn't take it to heart at all. Uncle Air educated his nephew that sleeping to the horizon is reasonable. The only regret is that my youngest son hasn't gotten married yet. When the new house comes down, I will immediately look for a matchmaker and carefully choose my daughter.in.law. Choose a city household registration. It needs to be a big but easy to raise and care for. I just don't know if the East will listen to me or not. P.S. 100 flowers plus 1 chapter, thank you all. Reward unlimited and add an update immediately. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 10. Qin Huairu, Go and Explore the East. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning. System, sign in. Ding, congratulations to the host for signing in, 5 cards for Unity, 2 pairs of Warren brand attack speed shoes, and 1 pair of Paris brand critical hit socks in each of the 10 colors. Listening to the voice in his mind, Jia Dongfang was immediately confused. What kind of thing? Are you legitimate, Tongzi? There are also such things. Jia Dongfang pondered for a while and finally came to the conclusion that he needed to find a wife. After all, he couldn't waste anything. Master Zhang from the front yard moved away, and Jia Dongfang also went to the street office to get the keys. Returning to the courtyard, Jia Zhang was already waiting at the door with a small locust flower in her arms, and Qin Huairu had prepared the cleaning tools. After opening the door, I found that it was empty, leaving only 1 piece of garbage. The previous furniture had been sold by Lao Zhang in the past 2 days. I don't know how Lao Zhang slept last night, but the empty room is also convenient, and the original furniture is not intended to be used anyway. The 3 rooms are about 73 square meters, and there is also a small kitchen. Jia Dongfang is quite satisfied, but he won't live here for a lifetime, it's just a transition. First, the things on the wall were cleaned, and then the beams and corners were thoroughly cleaned. Qin Huairu cleaned up and threw out all the garbage. At first, Jia Zhang blindly commanded while holding onto the small locust flower. Later, when Jia Dongfang complained a few words, he directly handed the small locust flower to an old lady to take care of. Then I took Qin Huairu to clean spider webs and clean doors and windows, and my mouth was not idle at all while working. It's not that I blame Qin Huairu for not being able to work efficiently and not being able to compare to myself when I was young. It's just cursing Master Zhang for being unethical. Not only did he not leave the furniture, but he also didn't clean the house before leaving, which is really outrageous. It took almost 2 hours to clean up, and I also measured the size of the house. Jia Dongfang's plan is to follow the arrangement of the master bedroom in his previous life, and then have a living room, a study, and a restroom. In this way, a similar layout is enough. I will make better plans for the others when I marry my wife. The bed and cabinet are also planned to be made of solid wood, so let's not think about it. Cowhide beds are more reliable and have good elasticity, saving energy. Replace the doors and windows directly with new ones, and it is best to make the windows double-layered. Everything is for sound insulation. What is needed below is to find a decoration team, and Director Wang of the street office also recommended 1 person. Li Lao wilted in Zhu'er Hutong, a cowherd who once decorated the royal mansion with his father. Jia Dongfang took the opportunity to buy groceries and went out for a stroll. He bought some vegetables and then took out 3 pounds of sine-in pork in a deserted area. These will be handed over to Qin Huairu to cook lunch, and I will ride my bike to Zhu'er Hutong. Li Lao Will is a thin elderly man in his 60s, with bright and lively eyes. Although dressed in rags, he still has a confident demeanor. After hearing Jia Dongfang's intentions, he was welcomed into the house and specially brewed a cup of tea. After listening to the decoration requirements, Li Lao Wei also glanced at Jia Dongfang in surprise. Not many people in this era have put forward such requirements. Furniture should be ready-made and pay attention to sound insulation, which can be said to be very rare. But the host who comes to the door cannot offend, this is a business rule. Li Lao wilted closed his eyes and calculated before slowly speaking. The difficulty is not high, it's just a matter of spending more time, but the specific pattern still needs your guidance from the owner. Jia Dongfang nodded to express his understanding, and then said, I will make a self-made design drawing. Could you please follow the design drawing when the time comes, master? That's no problem, I'll definitely do it well for you. Cheng, masterly, how much does it cost? I'll pay a deposit first. I need to visit your house first to confirm the quotation. When would be convenient for you? Let's go together now. Once confirmed today, we can start work tomorrow. At noon, I brought Master Li home. Qin Huairu and Jia Zhang had already prepared their meals and were waiting for me. Seeing Jia Dongfang coming back, both of them stood up happily to welcome him. Seeing Li Lao wilting behind them, Jia Zhang asked curiously. Dongfang, is this? Jia Dongfang took the wet towel handed over by Qin Huairu and wiped his face, saying, Masterly, I invited you to help with the decoration. Today, I'm here to measure the house. After speaking, I turned my head and saw Li Lao Wei drooling at the meat on the table. However, upon hearing Jia Dongfang's words, I still bowed and said, I apologize for any inconvenience caused. Jia Dongfang invited Li Lao Wei to have dinner together, but was refused. Boss, this is not in accordance with the rules. With the presence of female relatives, how can our helpers come to the table? Jia Dongfang did not force Qin Huairu to fill 2 bowls with 3 steamed buns and braised pork belly, and handed them to Li Laoxuan. Li Lao Wei took it with both hands and thanked Qin Huairu. Thank you, madam. Don't worry, madam. We will definitely decorate your house beautifully and allow you and your family to move in as soon as possible. Qin Huairu heard Li Lao Wei's words and was about to explain something, but she opened her mouth and couldn't say anything except for a rosy glow on her face. She didn't hear Jia Dongfang refute her, and her mouth curled up unconsciously. Jia Dongfang is too lazy to explain, mainly because he is going to work tomorrow and still needs Qin Huairu's help to watch. It's good to have a famous person pretending to be a tiger. Walking and eating with Li Lao Wei, we arrived at the cleaned house and talked about the plan with Li Lao Wei, focusing on the partition and corridor rooms. However, the Jia family's house fell into a strange state. After Qin Huairu sat down, she was constantly stared at by Jia Zhang. Everything that had just happened was seen by Jia Zhang, and she was also a passerby. How could she not understand Qin Huairu's thoughts? Although it is not uncommon in rural areas to have a gruesome relationship between siblings, it is not a pleasant thing to hear and can be stabbed in the spine. Qin Huairu's heart skipped a beat when she saw Jia Zhang's scrutinizing and warning gaze. They had known each other well for so long, and her own caution was discovered. Although I have hidden well, I have decided to keep it in my heart. Perhaps it was the perfect sunset that day, when he was wearing a fitting Zhongshan suit, his handsome face, and slender and strong figure caught his attention. Perhaps it was his gentle teasing of the little locust flower, perhaps it was his own concern for washing clothes during confinement, or perhaps it was he who disciplined the stick like a father. It's his gentle words, his domineering behavior, and his disdainful respect for women. I am certain that he is the ideal type for my teenage nostalgia. What I am more certain of is that everything is too late, he is my uncle. Thinking of this, Qin Huairu met Jia Zhang's scrutinizing and warning gaze for the first time, with red eyes and a firm smile as she spoke. Mom, don't worry, I know I don't deserve it. The good match from the east is a beautiful girl from the city. Jia Zhang nodded awkwardly. She also knew that being a widow was not easy. Although she was extremely strict with Qin Huairu, she had done everything she asked Qin Huairu to do before. Orphans and widows make a living, not being aggressive or crazy, there is only a dead end. Thinking of the sins he has suffered over the years, his youngest son has finally returned from the hardships he has endured in the army and has indeed become a bachelor. A few days before joining the army at the age of 10, I had just returned and had not seen many women. Moreover, I turned a blind eye to women like Qin Huairu, so I guess I don't like women. The more Jia Zhang thought, the more afraid he became, and the more he thought, the more likely he felt. Jia Zhang, who was scared out of control by herself, shared her thoughts with Qin Huairu, who blushed upon hearing her. Uncle's donkey goods that morning often appeared in his mind. How could he not like women? Thinking so in my heart, but still comforting Jia and Zhang. Mom, don't think so. Dongfang just has less contact with women and doesn't know how to get along with them. It's better to see more women after work. Jia Dongxu nodded, hoping that what she said was right, but the fear in her heart had always existed. I owe my second child a debt since I was young. If I don't get married and don't leave a seed, even if I die, I won't have the face to face the ancestors of the Lao Jia family. With a flick of her triangular eyes, a shocking thought appeared in her mind. Take a few deep breaths and hold Qin Huairu's hand. Huairu, you also know why Dongfang wants to join the army. It can be said that both Dongxu and Bangan Xiaodang are the lives of Dongfang, and now Dongfang is still raising your 4 mothers. Should you thank Dongfang? Although Qin Huairu does not believe it is the fate of living in the East, it is true to rely on the East to support her now. Mom, I sincerely thank Dongfang from the bottom of my heart. In the future, I will definitely be filial to Dongfang when I grow up. Jia Zhang shook her head. Even if you are filial, you are still a nephew. It's not as good as Dongfang's biological son. It's uncertain whether Dongfang likes women now. P.S. Add 1 chapter to 100 fresh flowers. Thanks Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.